focus. Ideate, innovate, enable.
The Tata Social Internship, now in its 8th year, is an annual program that brings together the best minds from the world's top universities to intern in the Tata Group sustainability projects in India.
I think that it really brings a whole fresh perspective to the kind of work that is being done by both companies as well as the trusts, because you have young people coming with diverse experiences and from diverse disciplines and engaging with the programs that both the trusts and the companies have been running for some time, and that perspective and that fresh outlook, I think, can bring new insights, and it also causes us to reflect a little bit more about what we're doing and whether we're on the right track.
Spread out across the country, the interns worked on Tata's projects in Lonavala, Jamshedpur, Mithapur, Kolkata, Haldia, Babrala and Mumbai. Yohi Kato from the University of California, Davis interned at the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Allied Trust while documenting integrated approach to technology in education.
It's been very fascinating to see the whole different culture, because depending on the place you visit, you can see different types of culture, people, language and food, also music or festivals. So I really enjoy seeing these differences. Also, almost every moment in India challenged me my assumptions, what I used to be it's true. For my undergraduate program, I studied international development, so I'm always interested in developing countries, especially in South Asia, because I'd like to, in my future, I'd like to organize a program which empowers young people in developing countries, because young people are basically our future in developing countries. So this program allows me to travel around India, also to see the IT programs in India. And the concept of IT programs is very fascinating to me. So teacher designed the curriculum integrating PCs, internet, or using multimedia. And then students take the lead during the classes. So I wanted to see how the IT programs empower students and teachers in developing countries, and how these programs change them to address the social and economical issues on the ground.
Yohi is our third kind of batch who's looking at IT projects in this third year, and we thought it was the right time to now start documenting impact. So it's very important for the project that someone stays for a longer period and really goes and understand the nitty-gritties on the ground. So, getting an intern for 8 weeks and really be on the ground at different projects was something, luxury even for us to get. So it was a perfect situation.
After traversing across the country, we reached the last location for the Tata Social Internships, Mumbai, where we met Hannah Chambers, a student from London School of Economics interning with Tata Communications.
How do you feel whether your child is making progress in English and math, whether they are enjoying school, whether you have opportunities to speak to the teachers, and if you are satisfied with the education they're getting?
Namaste. मेरा नाम हाना है। मैं लंदन स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ती हूँ और मैं टाटा कम्युनिकेशंस के साथ काम कर रही हूँ। For Tata Communications, I'm working on 2 projects. The main focus is this education project, which is evaluating the interventions their partner NGO called Children in Progress is making in primary schools in serving slum areas in Mumbai. I'm conducting a rapid effectiveness study where I'm interviewing all the main stakeholders in the Tata Communications Pilot School, which is here, Sanyas Ashram School. I'm speaking to parents, I'm speaking to the NGO teachers, the government school teachers, students as well, and the headmaster and headmistress of the two mediums of this school. I first heard about the Tata Social Internship through some other students who'd done my master's course, who were 1 year ahead of me, and they had spoken very highly of their experience. They said it was very interesting in order to get a perspective on how the private sector approaches considerable development problems and social challenges. So I am a master's student in public administration with a focus on international development and social policy. And so it was very interesting to me to look at the Indian context, where you have great wealth disparity and so much opportunity. It's a country with its own space program, but yet it also has real poverty and the problems that come along with that. And so I wanted a chance to come here and engage with that. I also have had past experience in working in the social sector, but it had really been through the public sector or the third sector, through NGOs. So I really wanted this experience of a private company doing it through their corporate social responsibility.
The Tata Social Internship program has been received very well with all our stakeholders, because what I feel that any CSR initiative or a CSR program is a multi-stakeholder environment, and there is a constant yearning for improvement. That when we start a program, there are certain things which we may not be very clear about, and when we conduct such kind of internships and a third party perspective on what we are doing, it helps us a lot in building up the rigor in the program and learning from it is always said that if you learn from the early mistakes, you will improve in the longer run.
On the other side, we meet some more Tata Social interns in Mumbai as they gear up for their final presentations before the closing seminars. Stay tuned. As the Tata Social Internship program for the year 2015 draws to a close, we meet an intern from the London School of Economics in Mumbai as he narrates his internship experience, where he created a corporate sustainability roadmap for Voltas.
Sort of how do kind of innovative new ideas in each of the business verticals have come about. So maybe you can describe sort of the process.
So one is that we need to be innovating the products. So it has to meet the environmental standards in terms of standards which has been defined by ASHRAE as well as ECBC.
Sure.
So there are certain guidelines which has been given by ASHRAE as well as ECBC in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of full load values as well as part load values.
Yeah.
So that's one thing which we need to do.
This is actually quite a long-term and quite a complicated project, so really I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm sort of just initiating it and kind of laying out the structure of what needs to be done in order for Voltas to sort of embed sustainability within their business practices. So there's sort of multiple steps to embedding sustainability. The first and the most important of which that I'll be dealing with is something called establishing or determining materiality. Soliciting this sort of information usually comes from talking with people who actually work in the business. Obviously, I'm coming in with very little knowledge of the day-to-day. When I first got here, I wasn't really sure even what Voltas did, other than air conditioners that I was seeing all around India. So a lot of the first month has been sort of understanding the business process in some way, hearing the views of people from all over the business verticals, talk about their work, how it relates to sustainability. What I'm doing now at the moment is sort of hitting the kind of higher strategic level about where Voltas wants to go, and that involves talking a lot with sort of the top level management, the CXOs, the various CXOs, and kind of using that information in a very structured way to figure out how sustainability issues intersect specifically with core components of the business. It's been really enlightening for me to see sort of how companies in other countries in the developing world outside of where I'm from sort of operate. Usually most interns from London and the UK tend to get work in
companies in the UK. So it's sort of that direct transition from seeing how international students get jobs either in their home country or in the country where they're studying. And there's such a wide range of countries in the middle that they never get to experience. So I think it's good to see how things work in some other country in the world.
Jam has been a fantastic intern for us. He is very proactive in his work. I find him to be very, very intelligent, and he always likes to come and discuss things, and also, you know, provide a lot of his own personal insights about certain aspects. And I think to a great extent the fact that, you know, Jam also has a background whereby he has worked in certain social sectors and certain social projects, that gives him a perspective about, you know, what we are trying to really achieve here in Walters. So I think that has been a fantastic experience with Jam.
After completing 2 months of rigorous internships in the rural and urban parts of India, the interns now prepare a report on their projects for the culminating seminar.
So basically we looked at why we want to do this project. We think this project is something that could benefit schools in terms of education. If we install renewable energy, it could allow schools to provide different technical resources that they did not have before. In terms of the environment, India's future carbon footprint could be reduced by people getting educated about proper energy usage. In terms of health,
long term in my career, I definitely want to be involved with social work, and I really wanted to see what it was like in another country. I guess I've grown up in America my entire life, only lived in one state, in California, so I really wanted to sort of broaden my experience, go see a different culture, go experience something new, and hopefully take away something from it that I can use in my future career.
So Kyle would be the 4th intern that we've had so far. And I think for all of them it is a life-changing experience, whether they are of Indian origin or not. The students chosen are normally people who haven't had too much exposure to India. They come here with different expectations. They live with us for 2 months. It is an in-depth learning experience for them. They have weekends off, so they take time to travel, they meet the locals. And the best part about the social internship is that they get to meet and interact with locals, with NGOs, with the corporates. And it's a holistic experience that I think changes them forever.
Hi, I'm Sajid. I'm from the University of California at Berkeley, and I'm here with the Center for South Asian Studies, working with Tata Communications in the Pune campus, in Delhi, actually, a little bit north of Delhi.
I think that sometimes people go abroad or go to countries that are, on the whole, poorer countries, and get this very disingenuous sense of like, oh, turns out you can make do with so little, or oh, look at all these, you know, picturesque school children, and, you know, a picture gets uploaded on Facebook. But I think that that's not in any way the point of this kind of work, and it's so essential and so important. I think that's not in any way the point of this work. I think it's essential to be respecting that these people are all fully functioning humans with their own life processes and dignity and everything. And I mean, I think that what I was pleasantly surprised by, incredibly pleasantly surprised by, was that the work that I did with Tata Communications was never for show. It was never, you know, take a picture with poor school children and then move on. It was about an ongoing process of interacting with the community.
Coming up on the other side, the Tata Social Interns continue their final presentations at the closing seminar in Mumbai. Stay tuned. The Tata Social Internship program for the year 2015 brought together some of the brightest minds of the world for a unique internship experience.
Balance between resource intensiveness versus returns when you change to off-season. That's something to think about. I won't be able to do it in this case, but in general.
But the great news about SRI is that you use fewer seeds. It's the same seeds. It's not a high-yielding variety. It's the same seeds. You use fewer, you use less water, and it's just more labor. But as long as that's your crop for the season, that's okay.
At the culminating seminar, the students brainstormed their solutions for the Tata Group's CSR projects with Tata employees and professors from their universities.
People are not smiling, it's great. what's interesting is that we have students who either have no experience in India, or if, for example, they have family members, their parents or grandparents from India, they've spent very little time here and only mostly in the embrace of their family, not really having a sense of society at large. So for all these students, it gives them a chance to get to know India, which of course is interesting not only because India is such an extraordinarily interesting place, but because it's a very large country, a very important country, and it's changing with complex effects immensely rapidly. And so for students committed, whether they're engineers or whether they're training in sociology or whether they're working in medicine, but they're interested in questions of health or economic disparities and how to link technology, politics, social science knowledge, and their own commitment to participating in social change. It's a very interesting program.
But then you mentioned, Andrew, that bore pumps. Is that different from the hand pumps?
The bore well feeds the hand pump.
Okay, so how many, and you were suggesting several bore wells?
Yes, a subsidy for just homes.
So I've been, the Tata initiative that we started working with them was about 5 years ago, and it's a great initiative for various reasons. Firstly, because the Tata is so involved. It is a private company, but it has a very strong public responsibility, and LSE as one of the top institutions of social sciences, for us engaging with this kind of a program which directly works with and links with several social community initiatives has been great for us. The other important aspect of it we find is that this also brings in an element of diversity, getting in different perspectives. Since the group already has a lot of the regional knowledge and perspective, it enriches the learning with an international community of students, and the opportunity it offers for the students is great. And when the Tata company itself has been becoming more and more well-known internationally, the interest and the keenness for international students to come and want to do this program has been growing year on year, so that we get 40 to 50 applications, so 10 times more than the number of offers that we can provide.
When you're talking about a business school and you're talking about social sector internships, the first thing that many people will ask is why. And there are 2 or 3 important reasons, and our students really benefit a lot from this. One is to say, if you look at India today, there is a Bharat and there is an India. There is a corporate India and there is a Bharat. And a lot of the future growth will come from a Bharat.
My project was looking at 7 different projects in Haldia in West Bengal that were related to agriculture, and to analyze what was going well, what should be scaled up, and then to suggest new areas of activity.
My background is in agriculture. I worked at the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations for 3 years. And so bringing that and then using the quantitative and qualitative skills I have from my master's, this was the perfect opportunity to take my theoretical knowledge and apply it somewhere new. So for me, this was a great opportunity to do that, and now I have some fieldwork experience that I can take into my next opportunity.
My project was based around rural sanitation. There were 2 main aspects, trying to reduce the open defecation rate in the core command village, and the second key objective was to try and increase the number of people who had access to clean drinking water, and who, more importantly, would use clean drinking water. Coping with the linguistic difference is quite difficult. We had a lot of problem with the regional dialects, so we learned some Hindi, but they often didn't understand us because they spoke a very different dialect of Hindi. So when it came to interacting with people, we had to be very simple, so they'd say words like Dhanyabad, but we found that it was immediately very easy to develop a rapport with villagers if we used the very religious greeting, Ram Ram.
I have been working on a water conservation project, the title of which was Understanding the Water Uses and Developing Water Conservation Measures for the Community.
I think the concept of working on a project such as this for a private company is very interesting. It's quite unique within, I think Tata is the only place I could do something like this, and it's a very different experience to what most people will be getting working for NGOs or volunteering. I think it was very interesting to see a different perspective on things.
The Tata Social Internship program has been more than just an internship for these students. While some immerse themselves into the Indian culture, others approach the journey as a step out of their comfort zones.
I find the cultural differences were the most interesting and enjoyable part of the experience. The food has been amazing, learning about all the different religions in the area and visiting the temples. We went to the birthplace of Lord Krishna, and hearing the story about all the things that went on there was amazing. I think the only thing that I found a little bit difficult was having curry for breakfast every day. Curry 3 meals a day got a little bit. It took a little bit of getting used to, but by the end of it, I'm loving it, so I can't complain.
The very first village, the very first day I went to, I made friends with this little girl, and she spoke Marathi and I spoke Hindi, and we didn't understand each other at all. But like little words were similar, and hand gestures went a long way. And she took me to her mom, and I went to their house, and the hospitality of the people that I meet here is so heartwarming. And they gave me tea, they gave me this fruit that they picked from a jungle nearby, and I sat there for a few hours. They showed me family pictures, and we didn't really understand each other because of the language barrier, but it was still really beautiful.
One of the most interesting, I guess, is whenever we come into villages, people always ask, "Where are you from? Are you from Nepal?" And that was quite different because I've never been called Nepal before, and I was like, "Oh, this is quite exotic."